all know, speaks very strongly, and he has very strong sources. Son-in-law from Rabbi Feinstein, biochemist. He suggests that brain death is death, organ transplants will therefore be okay. That's one side of the debate. Others say otherwise, or Herschel Schechter and various other scholars. Just very quickly regarding a goses, there are also different rabbinic opinions. You have to choose your rabbi wisely, know what to ask him. A goses is someone in the last throes of death. You have to do everything in your power for someone who is terminally ill to extend their life, even if it's painful in Jewish law. Most people think the answer is yes. The answer is not so clear. We find in the Gemara of Yehuda Hanasi, the redactor of the Mishnah, was dying. And they gathered in the yeshiva to say psalms for him and to pray for him and to fast. And his maidservant, she said, this is not right. He's suffering. And she said to the heavens, she went onto the roof and she said, you have your arguments, they have their arguments. Listen to your arguments. And Yehuda Hanasi died. And she was praised for this. And it's not by chance that it was a maidservant, someone who knew him closely. Because according to Rabbi Auerbach and Rabbi Feinstein, it actually depends on what the person wants. In this case, sometimes halacha takes a back seat. Rabbi Auerbach suggests that we should recommend to extend life no matter what. The Tzitz Eliezer demands that we extend life, antibiotics, etc. at the end of life. Moshe Feinstein says it's forbidden to extend life when it's painful. Everybody agrees, left, right, and center, that nutrition and water must be given, and you will be surprised today. And I can tell you, as other rabbis in the room can tell you, that doctors argue for this, to hold back water, to actually have people starve to death, to give morphine. Wink, wink, we'll give them a lot of morphine. That will hopefully cause the respiratory system to fail. These are very serious questions in halacha. To actively kill, there is nobody who allows it. Nobody. To pull the plug, that's where it gets dicey with the respirator, the hulu, speak to your competent halachic authority. The Shulchan Aruch itself speaks about a case, the Ramah, of someone who is in the last throes of death. They're definitely going to die, and there's some construction nearby, and the vibrations are keeping them alive. They're almost dying, and the vibrations keep them alive. You could stop the builders to allow the person to die, to remove some type of impediment for someone's death is sometimes allowed in halacha. We do not necessarily want to extend a person's life. What I want you to remember is two things. Nutrition and water, things that are central, are always an obligation. When it comes to end-of-life care, there's a difference of opinion, and sometimes it's up to the person. Think of a case of ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, where someone slowly loses function of all of their body parts until they are completely functioning in their brain. They can move their eyes, but they're paralyzed everywhere else. What does halacha say for such a person? And by the way, if I'm not mistaken, the doctors could correct me. Someone with ALS in his life, they're very sensitive to pain. Very sensitive to pain. So to start giving them medicines and needles could be very painful to them. This is not very simple in halacha. These are questions that before you write a healthcare proxy and you write down which rabbi you want, it's not enough to say a competent halakhic authority. You should probably suggest which halakhic authority you would choose. We'll end with this. Remember in halacha, there's no such thing as a stringency. And there's no such thing as a leniency. This rabbi is stringent, this rabbi is lenient. Every stringency has a leniency, and every leniency has a stringency. For example, if you believe that somebody who's at end of life, you shouldn't do anything to save them, that means it's forbidden to desecrate Shabbos for them. That's a very serious stringency. And if you say that someone at the end of their life, you have to do everything, or very machmir, you have to do everything to save them, like the Tzitz Eliezer, that's a tremendous leniency. That means you could desecrate Shabbos at this point of their upcoming death, perhaps. You can actually desecrate Shabbos according to this opinion. So we'll end with that which we've begun with. That in halacha we have to be objective. When my mother passed away, actually, so various relatives were acting as the shomer. And 3 o'clock in the morning, and I kid you not, this happened. My mother passed away right after Shabbos, so it was probably about 7, 8 o'clock. About 6 hours later, I was sleeping in the Biker Cholim apartment, and one of my relatives comes banging at the door. She's alive, because she jerked, which sometimes people do. How blind we become, and you think you can laugh at such a story, you'll be surprised how blind we become when we're with the patient, we're the caretaker of the patient. forget everything about halacha for a moment. We need objective voices. And Mechilas wrote to the doctors are not objective. No one wants a call when you don't sign a DNR to be woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning for someone that they think is going to die anyway. Doctors aren't ethicists. Doctors are more nogea b'davar than the family. And they need a bed. It is important to have someone objective. And I hope through this class I could convince you that a rabbi of your choosing, is the best person to be that voice of objectivity. Thank you very much.